Greetings to all of you. I want to talk today about the upcoming powerful Lionsgate portal on August 8th, followed immediately the next day by the full moon. I think this will be a very powerful time for all of us, and I want to explore some of the meaning of this Lionsgate portal and how it then is integrated in the energy of the full moon. Remember that the Lionsgate portal actually begins July 28th and goes through August 12th, but it comes to its peak on 8/8, August 8th. And remember, 8 in numerology is associated in the major arcana of the tarot deck with strength. It is about our tapping into our courage, coming from our hearts and our spiritual alignment to be acting and manifesting in the world from that alignment with our soul selves, with our hearts, with our connection with cosmic consciousness. And then the full moon is supporting us in that manifestation. The meaning of the Lionsgate portal is that it's an alignment of the energy of the sun, our brightest star Sirius, Orion, and the Earth. And what that actually means, and I'll show you with visual astrology in a minute, is that just before sunrise, both in the northern and southern hemispheres, we see in the eastern sky the brightest star Sirius rising, and we can see it in its relationship with the stars of Orion. Our sun rises shortly after Sirius rises, and they're in connection with each other then through the sky, then setting together and really aligning their energy together. This is a very powerful configuration because, as you know, I see Sirius as our binary star. And this dance between the sun and Sirius is what takes us through this evolutionary process of our 24,000-year precessional cycle. And as you've heard me talk about in many videos, this is such a critical time for us in the precessional cycle as we're coming out of the Kali Yuga, the time of the lowest level of our consciousness, into a new precessional cycle, into the age of Aquarius, into moving into higher consciousness. So for the sun to be in this dance with Sirius, and we see them aligning in the sky, it's guiding us to remember that we are meant to be in that right relationship with Sirius, guiding us into higher consciousness. In a way, you can see the sun as symbolic of our personality self in its dance with our soul self. And we're meant to bring them into integration. We're meant to honor that we are soul selves here having this human experience. And when we allow our personality to really attune to our soul self, then we can live out of our true authentic selves. We can be in alignment with our soul's path and purpose. We can bring forth those unique creative gifts that only we have to bring out in the world in this time. And in a similar way, when the sun is in alignment with Sirius, we in our solar system are remembering our connection with Sirius, this star that is guiding us in our spiritual evolutionary journey of consciousness, to remember who we are, why we're here, how we are all a part of the oneness of cosmic consciousness. So this is such a powerful time to be coming into that deeper alignment with our soul selves. Before I talk more in depth about how these energies are playing out with the Lionsgate portal and then the movement into the full moon. Let me just show you the time of the Lionsgate portal on August 8th in the sky. So you can see in the sky, and this is showing the Boston area on August 8th at 5:45 a.m., just before the sun rises over the horizon, we see Sirius rising above the horizon. You can see Sirius is always in this close relationship with Orion and in this alignment with the stars of the belt of Orion. And remember, as I've talked about in earlier videos, Orion, that constellation and its movement in the sky is very symbolic of our journey as humanity in our movement through the precessional cycle. And it is Sirius, our binary star, that guides us in that movement of the precessional cycle. What's beautiful at the time of this Lionsgate portal is that Jupiter and Venus will also be visible in the morning sky here in the stars of Gemini. Venus is a morning star and Jupiter is rising before the sun. And some may be able to see Mercury very dim just above the horizon before the sun rises. But you can see how the sun and Sirius are in this alignment and will move together through the sky and then set very close to the same time at the end of the day. And this will really be powerfully present during that time from July 28th through August 12th. The energies of this Lionsgate portal will be very similar to the energies in the chart of the full moon. So I'll go more in depth into what's playing out with the planetary energies at that time as we look at the chart of the full moon. So here is the full moon, which here in the Boston area will be 3:54 a.m. on August 9th. So this follows very shortly after that powerful time of the portal at its peak on August 8th, but is still very much in that larger period of this powerful alignment of the sun and the star Sirius. And here you can see the full moon will be with the sun at 16 degrees of Leo, opposite the moon at 16 degrees of Aquarius. And in this full moon, we have a grand trine in air signs with Uranus and Sedna at 1 degree of Gemini, Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius, and Mars at 1 degree of Libra. We also have a beautiful mystic rectangle with Pluto, Mars, Mercury, and the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn. So these are very powerful configurations that are being activated at the time of this full moon. I think it's significant that Pluto and Mars are both in the grand trine as well as in that mystical rectangle. And remember that Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. Pluto in this trine with Mars is guiding us to transform our actions and ways of being, Mars, in alignment with our connection with divine will, Pluto. So Pluto is empowering us to be conscious of how we act, how we're taking responsibility for who we are and the energies that we're bringing into the world, and supporting us in acting in alignment with our higher consciousness. I think it's very significant that the Sabian symbol for Mars at 1 degree of Libra is, according to Dane Rudhyar, the transmutation of the fruits of past experience into the seed realizations of the forever creative spirit. In other words, this is about our aspiring towards the ideal of being authentic and responsible and in integrity in every moment. So in this powerful grand trine, Uranus in Gemini is saying, see the truth of what is going on. Uranus is cutting through illusion and guiding us to see more and more clearly what's been hidden in our own lives, in our own shadow aspects, but it's also bringing the light of consciousness to the shadow aspects of humanity and what it is that needs to be revealed for us to be on a path of moving into truth and breaking out of these dysfunctional, destructive patterns of the past to be transforming how we act as we move in to the age of Aquarius that Pluto is so powerfully guiding us into. So with Mars in that powerful degree that is about our living from our values, our ideals, our being in harmony and balance, Libra, our being in alignment with our soul selves. Remember, Mars is opposite Neptune and Saturn. They're guiding us to dissolve those out of balance paradigms from the age of Aries, to move into spiritual ways of being that we can then manifest in new forms, Saturn in Aries. So Mars is guiding us to take responsibility for our actions, to be in right integrity and living from our authentic selves and our alignment with our soul selves in each moment. This then is also a part of this powerful mystical rectangle. And remember, in a mystical rectangle, it consists of 2 sextiles and 2 trines. And trines and sextiles are those aspects that are collaborative. They are energies that know how to complement each other, support each other, work in synchronicity together. So this mystic rectangle is Mars, Mercury, Neptune and Saturn, and Pluto. So it's guiding us not only to have our actions be in alignment with our soul selves and our authenticity and in alignment with our values, but also our thoughts and how we are perceiving what's going on around us. And Mercury is still in retrograde, guiding us to be reflecting on who we are, how we act, how are we coming from our authentic selves, how are we being and living in alignment with our soul selves, and how do we need to keep transforming our thoughts and actions to be more and more in alignment with the paradigms of the Aquarian age that are about truth, justice, collaboration, community, co-creating this new world together. So all of these energies are activated at the time of this powerful Lionsgate portal, as well as this powerful full moon. Now, let me show you the chart with some of the Kyper belt objects and healing centaurs and how they come into play with this full moon. It's quite extraordinary that when you add in the Kyper belt objects, you now also have a grand square that connects Maki, Jupiter, and Venus, which are visible in the morning sky before the Lionsgate portal and this full moon, and are in alignment with the star Sirius, with where they are in the zodiac on the ecliptic. So you have this grand square with Maki, Jupiter, and Venus, the asteroids Ceres and Slacia, and this combination that I talk about a lot, Quavar, Pholus, Ixion. You could really see this grand square as how are we healing those out of balanced paradigms represented in the energies of Ixion, and how we can get caught in manifesting impulsivity, being caught in our own selfishness or greed, all these ways in which the out of balanced paradigms of the Kali Yuga and the patriarchal period have been playing out across these past 5,000 years, with Pholus saying it's time to heal that, and Quawar come back into balance, to bring the light and energies of consciousness into our world and into right relationship with the earth, Sirius, and to then be in relationship from a place of compassion and being of support to each other, Venus and Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, and to be able, Maki, to regenerate our relationship with the earth, to be in right balance and harmony with all that is. So we're being guided on so many levels to come back into balance, come back into harmony, remember our interconnectedness with all of the life around us. But very powerfully at work at the time of this full moon, and what I really want to emphasize in the energies of this full moon is the way in which Varuna is conjunct the sun opposite the moon. We have Pallas Athene in conjunction with the moon, and we also have the healing centaur Chariklo very close to the moon, opposite the sun. I want to talk in particular about these energies of Varuna and Chariklo and how powerfully present they are, again, both at the time of the Lion's Gate portal and in this full moon. Remember that Varuna is a trans-Neptunian object. It's a Kyper belt object named after a Hindu deity. Varuna, the Hindu deity, was known as the god of the waters, of the celestial waters, of divine order. This is the energy of cosmic balance and harmony, being in right relationship with the energies of cosmic consciousness. This was the Hindu deity that was known both as the one who would punish those who were out of right relationship with divine law, with the order of the cosmos, with being in harmony and balance, but also as the one who would bring forgiveness for those who would repent and set that intention to come back into balance and harmony, into alignment with the energies of the cosmos. So I think it's very powerful that this energy of Varuna is in conjunction with the sun at the time of this Lion's Gate portal and the full moon, calling us to look at ourselves, to bring that light of the sun and of our consciousness into our own lives, to see where we are out of balance and how we can come back into right relationship with natural law, with the order and harmony of the cosmos. Varuna was known as the deity with 1,000 eyes, watching everything, omniscient, seeing all that is. We're held in that energy of the cosmos, the love and wisdom of the cosmos that is guiding us in how to come back into that remembrance of being a part of the harmony and order of the spheres of the cosmos. And Varuna is calling our attention to where we need to change, where we need to seek forgiveness for the ways that we've gotten out of balance, the ways in which we've been a part of the destructive energies on the planet, or been impacted by those energies and caught in our own constricting trauma responses. Varuna is guiding us, supporting us to come back into alignment with our true selves and to come back into right relationship with all that is. And it's very significant that Chariklo is actively present at the time of this full moon. It is that healing centaur. It is the largest of the centaurs who orbit primarily between Saturn and Uranus. We have Chiron, Chariklo, Nessus, and Pholus. Chariklo, interestingly enough, is not only the largest centaur, but the one with the most stable orbit and the most symmetrical orbit. The orbits of the other centaurs are more unstable and more elliptical. So Chariklo, even in her movement in the sky, is teaching about coming into balance, coming into that sense of stability. And she was the partner of Chiron, who holds the healing energy in a different way than Chiron, the wounded healer. Chariklo holds this energy of presence with ourselves, with each other, holding that healing energy of love and compassion in the midst of the suffering and the pain. She holds this energy of strength and the way in which holding ourselves and each other with love and compassion can help transmute the pain, can help facilitate the healing that supports us all in coming back into balance. As a dear friend of mine would say, Chariklo holds the energy of being willing to witness another in pain. My friend calls it withness, being with another, being able to truly see and hear each other in our suffering, in our pain, and just hold that energy of love and compassion. What I have found in my work as a clinical psychologist is that what's most profoundly healing is when we can share our pain and feel seen and heard. Sometimes we long for the pain to go away or for someone to fix it, but what's actually most profoundly healing is to feel seen and heard and held in love and compassion in a way that empowers us then to be moving into our own healing process. It allows the suffering and pain to lift so that we're empowered in our own healing process. So Chariklo is energizing this full moon and calling us into our own healing process. Remember, we bring that Chariklo energy to ourselves first. It is as we can truly love and accept ourselves, hold ourselves in compassion, that we can then emanate that out and truly come from a place of love and compassion for the other. I think this is so important in this time, in that we are in such a powerful time of transition right now on the planet. And it is a turbulent time. I know that I've just come out of a few weeks of really, in my own process, struggling with how do I, as a sensitive person, as an empath, how do I cope with what I am seeing of the intensity of the suffering happening with people in my immediate sphere, but people around the globe? How do I hold my awareness of that and my empathic attunement to that and not get pulled under by it? And I think Chariklo guides us in how we can do that, because another part of the meaning of Chariklo is about our capacity to find that sacred space within us, that place of inner stillness that allows us then to hold all that we feel, all that we witness, all that we experience in that larger love and energy of the cosmos, in that energy of infinity, and that awareness that we are all held in the love and wisdom of the cosmos that is beyond our comprehension. We can't understand or fathom why some of the suffering is happening on the planet, but we can find that place of inner stillness, our capacity to take in the love of the cosmos, to hold that for ourselves and emanate that for each other. Then we're sending that healing energy out to all those who are in pain, who are suffering. I think that's very important in this time as we are exiting the Kali Yuga and seeing this increasing time of awakening. This is truly a time where we have the capacity as humanity to make an evolutionary leap into higher consciousness, into that fifth dimensional consciousness, which is the energy of love. But we're seeing at the same time a lot of those who are resisting this time of transformation, who are clinging to power over and the paradigms of the past. And we're seeing the way in which the shadow aspects of humanity are being revealed and brought to the surface more intensely than ever before. And I think this is some of the energy of Uranus and Gemini, but it's also some of the energy of this increasing solar activity, galactic activity that is trying to support us all in clearing what's out of balance, in releasing these shadow aspects in ourselves individually and collectively to heal, to transform, to move into this higher consciousness. So as we're in this turbulence, allow Chariklo to support you, help you find that inner stillness, help you come to your center, that place in your heart where you feel held in the love of the cosmos, and then can emanate that out. And then this full moon, with those powerful configurations with Mars, is saying, know what's yours to do in each moment. We each are here with our own unique path and purpose, our own unique gifts. The energies of this Lionsgate portal and this full moon are saying, align with your unique path. Be in tune with your heart so that you know what is yours to do. What is your unique gift to bring out into the world? What is your unique responsibility in terms of being in right action, right integrity, living from your authentic self? If we each do that and support each other in doing that, as we do in this community, then the world can change in the blink of an eye, because we will then be emanating that healing energy of Chariklo, that energy of right integrity, of being in right balance, right harmony, that alignment with Varuna, guiding us into alignment with the divine energies of the cosmos, with natural law, with the natural flow of things, with being in tune with the currents of the earth and sky and all that is. This is then what how we can manifest at this time of this Lionsgate portal, this energy of Leo that is about coming from the heart with courage to manifest our creativity into the world. We can then do that from that place of alignment with our soul selves to be manifesting what is an authentic expression of our true self, alignment with our soul selves, to then be supporting the healing shifts in the world and our capacity as humanity to make this evolutionary leap into higher consciousness. We are capable of doing this. We've come and incarnated in this time to be a part of this shift. And I think the key is find those places in yourself where you get caught in resistance, where you feel your own blocks from the wounds of the past or from your own fears. Allow yourself at the time of this Lionsgate portal to do a fire ceremony and release those things that are blocking you. Release those fears that are holding you back. Allow yourself to pull in that heat and energy of the fire that is a reflection of that energy of Leo and the energies of the sun to heal you, to support you, to enliven you, to guide you in how you can then be in the full expression of your unique creativity and authenticity, to be in that joy of alignment with your true self, with your soul self, to then we each are doing our piece, our part in this web, healing web, with this community of those of us who are awakened and awakening, who are moving into that higher consciousness, who are then supporting the healing shifts in the world. This is what we're capable of. This is why we're here. And when we're living from our hearts, when we're living from that alignment with our true selves and our soul selves, we feel that joy, that rightness. We feel that lack of fear because we remember we are a part of infinity. Then we can be coming from that courage to do what is ours to do without fear of the consequences. I find it very significant to look at the Sabian symbols for this full moon and sun. The meaning of the Sabian symbol for the sun at 16 degrees of Leo is the image is a volunteer church choir singing hymns. The deeper meaning of that is about connecting in spiritual community to be dedicating ourselves to these collective ideals. Another way to think about it is like the energy of Quawar, that creation deity of the indigenous people from ancient times that lived in the area that's now Southern California, who honored Quawar, that deity who called all of creation into being through singing, and then called everything into that song of the cosmos. As we sing together, coming from our own true soul songs, and align with the harmonies of the song of the spheres, then we together are supporting this healing shift and movement into higher consciousness. And the meaning of the full moon at 16 degrees of Aquarius, the image is a watchdog standing guard. But Dane Rudger talks about the meaning of this is developing the capacity to protect oneself and safeguard our individual rights and individual expression from social pressure. Think about that for a minute. It's about how do we in the midst of these turbulent times, in the midst of, in so many parts of the world, increasing efforts for authoritarian control, increasing efforts to activate fear, to manipulate our understanding of reality, to increase a level of social control, to keep us caught in fear. How do we take in this energy of the full moon, which is a watchdog standing guard, supporting us in honoring our own unique creativity and authenticity, supporting us in daring to be different, to not accommodate or succumb to those external pressures or those efforts to cling to the power over and abusive patterns of the past. How do we stand in our strength and courage to be in right alignment with who we are and what we're meant to do in this time? So this full moon is calling us into our creativity, into our courage and manifesting our true, authentic selves and our gifts, is supporting us in finding that stillness within, that ability to take in the healing energies of the cosmos, to emanate that out to others, and to have the courage to stand in our truth and to dare to be different and to dare to stand in alignment with these new paradigms of the Aquarian age, and to support each other in that, to be singing that song together, to be activating a new world and a new earth. Our earth is in this powerful evolutionary process and is a part of this more expanded ascension happening in our galaxy. And we each hold a critical part of that process. And we each are being supported at the time of this Lionsgate portal and full moon in standing in our courage, connecting with our hearts, aligning with our soul selves, bringing our own soul song forward, our own unique expression of light, to be a healing presence in the world, to be supporting the transformation of our planet. May we as a community continue to hold that Chariklo energy, that sense of withness, to be with and for each other, to support each other, to hold the pain, to hold the suffering, and emanate the healing and the love, and activate right action, right loving, right knowing, to be doing our part to support this profound shift into higher consciousness, into fifth dimensional ways of being, into the paradigms of the Aquarian age. Blessings and love to all of you. Blessed be.